Hello and welcome to the program Hot Button. Most young people have always battled with the question of the length of dating and for how long I should be with a partner before settling down or even meeting the partner's parents. A lot of people have grappled with this for a long time, and that is the reason we are here today on Hot Button to talk about this particular issue that you have always wondered. I have with me in the studio
Omolayo Ulushola Jegede.
and
I'm James Adeyemi Oluwatoyin Babalola.
my name is Johnny. Welcome to Hot Button. It's a pleasure to have you all here today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so the topic is length of dating among young adults. This is something that a lot of young people have wondered. Should I date for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or what is the limit? Who places the limit? Why should there be limit to how long I want to date someone or something like that? So that's why you're here today.
Relationship becomes too long when I'm tired. I'm not seeing the future. I'm not seeing anything. You're not serious. Let me know where I'm going to. Like, I don't want to waste my time. Yes.
Okay. Let's know where this thing is going. Otherwise, I'll start having that feeling of, man, I think if this doesn't go forward, I have to back up.
If I'm not seeing that, maybe this person doesn't really see a future with me, or how about I pack and go?
Let's talk about this. What can be considered an average length for a relationship to last?
Well, I would like to say that no one should legislate the length of dating.
Okay.
The reason why I said that is because people start their dating relationships at different times in their lives. And so the time that the young man and the young woman are starting their relationship determines a lot of things. Where are they in their lives? I will give you an example, or two examples. I've seen two couples that dated for 15 years and 12 years. Okay? And I've seen two other couples, one dated for 6 weeks and another for 6 months. But none of these examples is without its challenges.
Okay.
The couple that dated for 15 years, the lady was in GSS1, or what we call GSS1 today. It was Form 1 then. She was in Form 1 when the relationship started. About 12 years into their dating relationship, they went their different ways. She went on to date another person, and the young man also went to date another person. But a Yoruba adage says, if you have not tried another person's farm, or you have not been to another person's farm or another person's father's farm, you will always believe that your father's farm is the largest, the biggest in the whole universe. So having tried other people, they realized that, well, they were meant for each other, so to speak, because they had been friends before they started their relationship. Okay, so they came back together, and today, from what we can see, they are doing very well. Okay, for the couple that dated for 6 months, had to go settle a fight in their home. Yeah, and the couple that dated for 6 weeks, they are grandparents now, but then they almost broke up at the onset of their marriage relationship. So we see that there will be ups and downs, there will be challenges, but the question that young people going into relationships should ask themselves is, to what end? What do we want to achieve, as we go into this relationship? Once that question is honestly answered, I think the length of the dating period, or the length will not really matter. Yes.
So long as you're doing the right thing for the right purposes.
Exactly.
It doesn't really matter.
Yes,
okay?
And I believe you're going to be asking us questions that will make us also talk about the need for young people to talk to God before they get into any kind of relationship.
Most definitely.
It is very important.
Most definitely.
It is very important.
Okay. All right, let's hear from you, Pastor.
All right. Well, from the perspective where Mrs. Jagede dropped argument, yes, relationship has a different perspective, crisis will go. But I feel strongly that dating should not take a long period. For me,
Okay.
15 years is too much.
Wow.
Dating, 15 years is much. And that is why from the story she has presented, you will see that within that period of dating, they parted. So, why? Because it's a long period. A baby born 15 years is out of
Almost
secondary
an
school.
adult, yeah.
Yeah, so, and what could be the pain after dating somebody for 15 years and it's not ending into marriage? It can lead to mental issue, somebody committing suicide because you have spent a good number of your lifetime with an individual, and after 15 years, nothing is coming forward. So you can imagine the pain that will come out of it. So I feel strongly, like she has said, all normal, everything is done properly. The will of God is there. And if the Lord has led you to one another, I feel strongly a dating relationship, the parents are involved, should not, maximum of 3-4 years, you should settle down. I feel strongly about that because there are a lot of factors that maybe if we were going to talk about it, that may hinder a relationship of dating. In fact, even within our contemporary society today, to make it difficult. We are not living in the age of our grandparents, whereby a family can start a dating when a baby is born. They will say, oh, Mrs. Jagede, when your daughter, my son is going to get married. And they start training each other to see that person has been paying your dowry, and they grow up and they love each other. And those eras are no more with us. So today, you find a lot of issues like I'm working in Lagos, and maybe I met a lady and she's working in Abuja. When we have a distance, it affects our dating relationship.
So distance is also a factor.
It's a factor. Okay, the nature of my job also is a factor.
Okay.
If I'm a banker, I'm in the banking all from morning, I don't have Saturday, and we always talk on phone. So in such a person you are dating about months, you are not even seeing, you only talk on phone. How would you talk about that relationship? What would you say you've spent quality time in dating so that it will translate into your marital status? Those are issues.
Okay.
So when a relationship or dating is, you are not seeing each other, you are not spending quality time together in your dating period,
it will affect the length.
It will affect the length,
Okay.
and at the same time, if that is not properly managed, and it affects your home as well.
Okay.
Because of a lot of factors we need to take into consideration.
If there is one thing I can, put together from what you have said, the length of time doesn't really matter if you're doing the right thing.
Exactly.
In it.
Exactly.
If you have God involved
Exactly.
in it, until you can find the time to come together as husband and wife, as long as you're doing the right thing as stated by the word of God,
Exactly.
it doesn't really matter. And Pastor, what you're saying is length of time should not be so long, because in between that length, some things could come in that could hinder the people from getting married.
Yes.
It could be as a result of what you're involved in, where you're staying, and all that. I think we are all in in the right direction with this discussion today. Now, let me pose this question: how long would you personally speaking now, how long would you let your child date before settling down? If you have a son or you have a daughter?
Yes, I have a son and I have 2 daughters, to the
Okay.
glory of God. I still stand on my point that the time that the 2 individuals involved in the relationship are starting their relationship matters a lot. Okay. So now I can say my children are they have moved past primary school, they have passed JSS1 and so on. The youngest is in SS3. Okay, so now I can confidently say none is starting a relationship in secondary school. So let's assume that a child is starting a relationship in 400 level in the university, for example.
Okay.
For that kind of individual, the person that he or she is dating is also important. If the person is working, for example, my first daughter, maybe she's dating someone who is already of age, to get married, and the person is working, but she is still in school.
Okay.
Is this person, the questions that we're going to be asking them will determine whether we're going to allow them date for, we're going to encourage them, not enable, not allow, because it's all put to them, whether we're going to encourage them to date for 3 years or 2 years or, less. You're going to be asking, you are in school. That is to my daughter. You are in school. Are you ready to cope with the challenges of probably getting pregnant while in school? You're still studying, and then you have to nurse a baby. While in school.
Okay.
We are talking about length of dating, and then if she's not going to, if the man is not going to wait for her to finish her education or to graduate before they eventually get married, are they ready to cope with the challenges of having one of the partners in school, and then providing? Can the man also provide for the family without the financial support from the wife? You understand? So these are questions that will help us in advising them on what to do. What if they are able to answer affirmatively? They are able to say, yes, we can cope. We're going to give them series of examples, and then if they are ready, 2 years, 3 years, they are ready to settle down, I will say yes, no problem. You understand?
Okay.
Even if it's my son that is saying, yes, I want to get married to somebody, and he has brought the person home. This is, what is this? Where is this person in life? This person is in school, working, not getting a job yet or something. All these things, like Pastor said, all these factors would determine what we will encourage them to do at the end of the day.
So at the end of the day, it depends on the situation surrounding the relationship.
Exactly.
So if you see that there are factors that might affect it negatively later on, you can put a hold on it. You can advise that
exactly.
they put a hold on it for now until those gray areas are cleared.
Exactly.
Or if the foundations or maybe the environment is okay, the situations are right, it could just be for 2-3 years dating, and then
and then there will never be a time when there will not be challenges.
Definitely.
There will never be a time. That's why I said we will ask them if they are willing to weather the storm together.
So if they have a considerable situation around them and they feel they can manage,
exactly,
they can have the green light.
Exactly.
All right, let's hear from you, Pastor.
Well, very true. In dating, the male and the female, the gentleman and the lady, they are in the ship together. So they are the determinant of how the length of their relationship will be. So, but it's always very, very important that the parental involvement is key at the stage of the dating. And it also enhances the dating to translate into marriage. Because, as a man, you have a lot of fear. Oh, this lady, will it be acceptable by my family? Is she okay? And what my mommy say? And so once that ordeal is over and the lady is acceptable, the lady also is that, if I take you home, what will be the reaction of my father? And this and that. And all those challenges are overcome, are a thing of past. Then you will see the situation now brings two of them to say, okay, I think we're good to go. So in such a situation, the length of their dating may not be a long period. Because at a point in time in their relationship, the parental involvement is there. And the parents are always there to guide. Let me speak for an experience. My son, who graduated from here, is now working in Lagos for a few years now. And so at a point in time, when he comes to us, I said, how far do me? Because on WhatsApp, I've been seeing some pictures of some ladies. Every time I call, hello, who is this one again? He say, Popsy, don't worry, he's not this. She's just a office maid, a friend in the office and stuff like that. So finally, and luckily we were talking. I said, I'm coming home. I said, what are you coming home to do? When I come, I will gist you. So, and finally, he came home and we're not talking. I said, this lady, we've talked. I said, okay, fine. And he came home and borrowed my car, and he went out with it. And when he came back, we started talking. So the day I met the young lady, and I said, come, you've invited her to my house. I need to talk to two of you. And I sat them and I said, look, I know you. I know your daddy. Luckily for two of you, even if you have not visited my house because of my son, when I see you somewhere, I should be able to say what I'm saying. So two of you, I'm watching your back. What you're doing, my house is on mute. So don't, and I give them a proof. I said, in Yoruba, there is an ayah that says, which means when you are urinating, urinate at a spot so it can form bubbles. That means you know what you're doing. And I asked them, do you understand the proverb? They said very well. So have a nice day. So in such a case, I've put them in a premise for them to know that, look, what you are doing, I am interested.
Okay.
And I'm watching two of you. So you should know what you're doing. And what you're doing, you should do it well. And so gradually a parental involvement is there. So once in a while we talk, and I want to know what they are doing and what is their plan. Okay. So such helps in our relationship.
Okay.
And that can help them to really understand one another and move forward.
Okay. So with that, with your involvement now, you were able to regulate for how long they date or how the relationship goes, so they don't end up stretching it unusually, and then they have to do it according to you in one direction, so there will be substance.
Yes,
okay.
Definitely.
Now, is there, a time that can be considered, too long for two people to date? You gave us an analogy of a set of people who dated for 12 years, 15 years, another 6 weeks, 6 months, and all that.
Yes.
Is there a length of time that can be considered too long?
Okay. Yes, I will use another example to just answer your question. My example is this. If two people, like Pastor said, I don't know if the lady that his son brought home is a graduate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. She's working.
Okay, she's working.
Two of them are
working, and then they are in a relationship now. If at the end of this year they're not saying anything as to, okay, daddy, this is when we are getting married, next year nothing is forthcoming, I'm sure that if pastor is not asking questions, his wife will ask to say, my son, what is happening? What are you doing with the lady that you introduced to us? Because they are both matured, so to speak, talk of age, talk of the fact that they are working and all. So it is expected that that kind of relationship will not last more than 2 to 3 years, because when two young people are going into a relationship, like I said earlier, they should ask themselves, to what end? What is the aim? What is the objective of this relationship? If it's to get married, eventually, then they should not stay too long, especially if they are matured, they are finished their first degree or something, and then they are
somewhat independent.
Exactly. The examples I gave of the couple that dated for 15 years, I told you the lady was in Form 1 in secondary school when the relationship started. So you can imagine you can imagine why the relationship lasted that long. So now we're talking about a situation whereby the two individuals are somewhat independent, and like you said, then the relationship should not be more than 2-3 years. If it is going beyond that, you begin to ask questions. What is it that they are waiting for? Because, to be honest, and I want young people to understand this, you cannot know your husband or your wife, or maybe to say your would-be husband or your would-be wife, 100% before you get married to a person.
Definitely.
You will continue to discover him or her, on a regular basis. Yes. And that is why in Yoruba land, sorry, I'm making reference to we say marriage is like, going to the black market. It's a black market. You just go with your eyes closed, you buy, and then whatever you need in the package is what you get. Yes, and then you manage, and then you now fashion it to your own standard.
Okay, so when it is beyond, especially for people who are mature and then independent and are supposed to be considered at a marriageable stage, if they are dating beyond 2-3 years, it can be considered too long. All right, let me hear from you, Pastor.
I agree totally, because like the example that I've given, so I'm expecting my son and the lady in question. After a year or two, I should ask them question. What is wrong? What are you guys doing? Because two of them are out of work, two of them are out of school, you are working. So, and the next thing is to settle down. So, and if the relationship is not going to work, then you don't keep each other
for too long.
Wow,
so,
great.
And if once, like we're emphasizing here, is dating.
Dating, yes.
Yeah. And that is why, like Ms. Jegede example the other time, having a relationship in secondary school. Actually, I believe that is not dating. They are friends.
Okay.
Though the friendship translated into dating at a particular point in time of their life.
At the point of maturity.
Yeah, to 15 years. And so if actually we are looking at dating, and the relationship for dating will be as long as 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, there is problem, because a lot of issues will come in, and a lot of, in fact, between a married, a matured man and a woman dating for 5-10 years, temptation comes in. Because we are dating, let's do the thing now. Maybe they've known each other.
Okay.
The flesh started coming in.
Exactly.
Now, you know, we've put on ground following the will of God.
Yeah.
Because a time factor that keeping longer, there's no money, we will do it, and the urge. A man is there, and they meet together. They maybe at times they come and visit one another in their residence. Anything can happen. Unwanted pregnancy comes in when they are not ready.
Not ready.
And if because of shame, people must not know I'm pregnant. The options, maybe let's do abortion, comes in. There, you see, from one sin, they'll be compiling into one another.
Go
so
against
to
God's
prevent all that,
injunction.
To prevent all that, once two individuals are matured and by all ramifications they are ready, they are prepared, then dating between 2-3 years at max, they should be able to settle down to say, we are ready to get married. If that is not done, then something is wrong.
2 to 3 years is established, especially for people who are mature, independent, and are of marriageable age. Wow, that's a good one. Because I was wondering, the things that make relationships drag, it is either you're starting when you're not supposed to start, or you are in a relationship when you do not have a purpose for it. Because on this program, we have established that getting into a relationship is solely for the purpose of what? Marriage. And if it's not for marriage, why are you getting into it? Sure. If you're getting into it for marriage, then you should get into it when you're ready for marriage. And when you're ready for marriage, why stretch for so long?
Nothing.
Wow. Great one, great one. Now, do parents have the right to end, their child's relationship because they are considering it to be too long? Let me start from you, Pastor.
Because they're considering to be too long.
Yes, you consider that your son or your daughter has dated for so long, therefore I have to come in to say, no, you can't date for this long. This relationship must come to an end. Do parents have the right to come in like that?
I feel strongly that will be bad. That should not be acceptable.
Okay.
That shouldn't be a solution.
Okay.
That shouldn't be a solution. I feel if the parent have been involved,
okay,
so there is no way the relationship would have been a long one.
Okay.
So, and for it to be long, already it's long, and you're not saying your son or your daughter should back out. What of the years they've been together? Whose account would that be? Somebody is going to suffer heartbreak.
Okay.
Mental issue can set in, depression. Okay. So, but I feel that if parents are very much involved, so there is no how the relationship will be a long one. There may be challenges, like, the guy is working, the lady is working, but their income is not so buoyant to say, okay, we want to do the right thing.
Okay.
Now, the parental backup comes in.
Okay.
The understanding of the two parents, like in Yoruba culture, that may be different from other culture. In Yoruba land, you, as a man, you are not the one going to marry a woman. The family goes there to marry for you, even though they are not the one that have chosen the lady for you. But the whole, what we call the dowry list in Yoruba land, the family sits to say, okay, these things, we are buying it. Even though you will come and say, okay, you are putting down 100 million to get this, you are buying this and that. Your parent also get involved in the preparation.
Okay, so parents get involved, so you don't have to be so pressed down by financial challenges.
That will now say, because I have not been able to raise 2.5 million that we used to pay the bride price. I'm speaking from your bride perspective.
Okay, but let me get you very quickly.
Yeah.
Your point is, if parents are involved in children's relationship,
Yes.
it will, because of their involvement, it wouldn't even have to
It's
stretch
a long time
to
not
get
at
to a
all.
point before a parent can say you can't
and-
go on because you are dragging this relationship too
We'll
much.
get to
Okay,
that.
we are far behind time, but let me quickly hear from you. Is there a point where parents can say, hey, stop it, you are dragging this for too long?
No, you can't. A parent does not have the right to end their children's relationship. The parent does not have that right. Now, what the parents can do is to counsel the children right from the beginning, to say to them, marriage is good, as we have in Genesis 1:31.
Yes.
God says to us in Genesis 1:31 that everything he created is good, including marriage. So let them know that it is good to get married. That's number one. Number two, are there factors responsible for the delay, in settling down? If it is like lack of job,
Yeah.
do you have money as a parent to say, okay, I'm giving you X amount of money to start a business for you, or I'm using this influence? There are various ways by which, I'm just rushing through this because of time. There are various ways by which the parents can come in to support the children. Apart from payment of bride price and all that Pastor mentioned, there are other ways by which the parents can come in. You counsel them from time to time. You offer support when necessary.
You offer support when necessary. So what you're saying unanimously is parents must be involved in their young adults relationship from a very, very early stage.
Exactly.
So they can get it right and not drag their relationship for so long.
Exactly.
Wow, well said. I'm sure a young person out there has learned something from you today, as I have learned today. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. Thank you so much
Thank you
for coming
so
on
much.
board
Being here.
and giving direction to young people who are so in need of this. Well, that's the much we can take on the program today. We do sincerely hope that you've learned something new today. And in your relationship, try to get your parents involved so they can give you guidance and direction on how to lead your relationship last. So we draw the curtain up today, hoping that you'll be there with us same time when we'll come your way again. God bless you.